The absurd, the obsessed, the obscure. Follow us if you dare as we open the files at My Weird Space. Come play in the world's biggest and best pool. Say hello to some robotic rovers. And travel around in style. Bright lights and barricades. This definitely looks like an event of some sort, or a celebration of some kind. Well, it is. But this is one that many Chinese people dread. Now, before you go asking, this isn't the International Festival for Pyromaniacs, or the largest incense-burning record attempt. And this really shouldn't be used if you want to get rid of any of your ex's belongings. According to superstition, the gates of hell are thrown open once a year during the 7th month of the lunar calendar, with ghosts being free to roam the world. To stop them from causing trouble, the townfolk burn offerings, throw banquets, and perform opera shows to avoid the fury of visitors from the infernal region. Oh, what's that? You want me to trim my sideburns? Oh, but they take the focus off my hat. Look, I look like Goofy. There are many different stories as to why this superstition has led to a 3-day event. Maybe it really used to scare off the ghosts. But from here, it doesn't look like the ghosts are the ones doing the scaring. In Japan, they have a slightly different way of scaring things off. These people dressed in red and blue are supposed to look like scary ogres, bullying this poor little helpless tiger. And this elephant is going to save the day by sitting on them. No, not really. We wouldn't be able to show that now, would we? What this elephant is going to do, though, is throw beans with its trunk at these so-called ogres. It is custom in Japan to throw beans around homes and offices before the Lunar New Year, as it's believed to fend off bad luck and repel ogres, who are said to hate beans. Because of this tradition, the zoo decided to dress up an elephant and have it throw beans in front of a packed audience and encouraged all the children to get involved. This is a great educational lesson for children. Not only is it teaching them about tradition and history, but also how to throw things at something or someone you don't like. You just want to hope that the elephant hasn't got a cold, because you could guarantee you wouldn't just be getting covered in beans. There's nothing nicer than going for a leisurely stroll on a warm summer's evening. Although I'd personally prefer a walk along a beach or in a park somewhere that's not located next to dumpsters or bears. They may look cute and cuddly, but the bears around here are after one thing, and one thing only: food. And what better place to find it than in these dumpsters?
Now, I know I left that roast dinner in here somewhere. Nope, that's the meatloaf for tomorrow night. Nope, I don't feel like a banana right now. Maybe I put it in this one. Ah, there it is. Jackpot.
The residents here have been leaving the bins open and filled with leftovers, so the mothers can bring their young cubs along to get a free feed. This is becoming a problem for the garbage men though. A lot of people around town do tend to feel sorry for them, as their job would be hard to bear. Oh, don't come any closer, kids. You need your nappies changed. Here are some useless facts about nappies. Toddlers can use up to 6,000 nappies before they reach 3 years old. Every year, those nappies create about 180 million kilos worth and take around 500 years to decompose. So what can we do about it? Well, how about turning them into raw materials? A firm has been created to do just this by recycling incontinence materials. At least the factory workers are distracted from the stench by the lovely soothing sounds of the water feature. Whatever you do, just don't look at it. Once all clean and poop free, these nappies are then pulverised and turned into nappy sand. This way they can give back to the community using the recycled nappies by placing it in the playgrounds for the kiddies to play on. That's not normal sand, you know, and if you find that it makes you feel a little queasy, that's what these bins are for. Anyone feel like going for a dip? How about doing some laps? I probably wouldn't recommend doing them in this pool though, because as you can see, it's rather large. As a matter of fact, it's over 1 kilometre long. If you want to though, the owners of this resort have invested in some sailboats and kayaks that you can mosey on down to the other end of the pool. Or if that looks like too much hard work, just sit back and relax and enjoy the views with a nice cool beverage and some ultra cool shades. This pool gives hours of entertainment with its 250 million litres of water, not just for the kids, but for us big kids as well. Check out this cool floating trampoline slide. You just want to hope that the slide isn't too hot from the sun, because that could burn. And don't you just feel sorry for the pool cleaner at this resort? Here's a story that will get your taste buds tingling. To begin with, we have some lovely linguine pastas tossed with Bahama rock lobster. It's then sprinkled with a dash of olive oil and garnished with a little parsley. Remember, presentation is key. Next up, we have some finely hand-sliced Spanish Joselito Grand Reserve ham. The thinner, the better. It really brings out the flavour. We then place a small amount of caviar in a bowl. Now don't waste any. This is a very expensive delicacy, which only us rich people can afford. Ha 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 ha! Grill this lovely piece of steak. Isn't it a beautiful looking piece of steak? Make sure it's still pink in the middle and let it rest for a few moments so it becomes juicy and tender. Now, how much would you expect to pay for a meal as magnificent as this? Well, some people in London will actually pay $2,000 for this. Now that's expensive taste. This is Henrietta the hen. She looks like your normal, everyday run-of-the-mill hen, but there is something very unusual and extraordinary about her. At first glance, you might say there's nothing wrong and that everything looks fine. But you see, Henrietta lays green eggs. I just don't know what happened. One day I come outside to collect all the eggs and I see green eggs. I say, Henrietta, what happened? And you know what? She no answer. She just sit there and ignore me. I have no idea what's happening. At first, this family thought the eggs were off, but they were perfectly fine. It's just their appearance that's different. Surprisingly, there are other hens around the world that lay these eggs as well, and there have actually been reports of blue eggs. Have people ever thought maybe the hens were feeling sad? Now ladies, this is why men don't particularly like to go shopping with you. You all act like it's a race to the finish line and there's too much pushing and shoving. Well actually, this is a race to the finish line, and the finish line is at the top of the Empire State Building. But it's not only crazy women that take part in this, men stupidly like to follow. But maybe they're following for a different reason. Did you see some of those outfits those women were wearing? Oh, these men did. Hurry up, guys, there's only 1,860 steps to go. Most people go to Paris to view the magnificent sights, and most people like to use the more traditional modes of transport, like the comfortable double-decker buses, or even taking boat rides along the River Seine. But these people have decided what better way to show everyone the sights than by taking them on the back of a bike. This is the tandem service. It does sound like a great way to enjoy the sights like the Eiffel Tower, and it's a more natural and environmentally friendly way of getting around. They're practical as well. These tandem bicycle riders can also be used, not only for transporting tourists, but also by companies for express deliveries, as taxis, to run personal errands, post letters, and even take children to school. What bothers me though is the pedalling. If I'm going to pay someone to be my tour guide, I really don't want to have to concentrate on pedalling. I'm on holiday. I want to be lazy. Now let's hope these people introduce a dress code when riding on the back of one of these bikes. One of the dress codes should be no dresses allowed. Clothing should be smart and suitable. This is the Petronas Twin Towers in Malaysia, one of the world's tallest buildings and host to a week-long event for the world's most courageous people. Some people, though, may call them more crazy than courageous. This photographer is just waiting for that perfect Kodak moment when someone accidentally smacks into a window and sticks to it like a suction cap. And someone tell this man that using a rolled up piece of paper is not the same as using binoculars. The week-long event is to celebrate the country's Independence Day. And what better way to celebrate than by risking the lives of many people who partake in the extreme sport of base jumping. Base jumping, which stands for building, antenna, span and earth, should really be changed to brave adventurers' stupid experiments. But at least it gives the rest of us something to talk about. And we really can't say much about them because we're not brave enough to do it. After the terrifying jump, these daredevils then have to try and land in the target. Unfortunately, if they miss, they've got to go back up and do it all over again. How many times have you found yourself counting your steps as you walk along a footpath or when climbing upstairs? And when you pass a couple of hundred, you think, man, that's a lot of steps. Well, that's nothing compared to the amount of steps this guy is going to take. This distance runner is already up to 8 million steps. I don't think I'll even reach 8 million steps in my lifetime. Wanting to be the first person to run across 5 continents, this ex-insurance worker has already run across the United States and Australia. He estimated that on his trip he would use 20 pairs of running shoes, go through 40 pairs of socks, eat 500 cereal bars and use a litre of massage oil. But that just sounds like a normal day for me. He will come across a few obstacles on his journey as well, like crocodiles, spiders and other deadly wildlife, but it's explaining to his wife where he's been for the last few weeks and why this big man is rubbing his leg that really scares him. Running away from the situation won't make it any better, you know. For you young girls out there that want to follow in the footsteps of Paris Hilton and friends but aren't allowed to have a pet, this is perfect for you. It's called Dog in a Bag. Now this isn't like any other dog. It won't scratch, it won't leave fleas everywhere, it doesn't molt, and even better, it won't leave you little smelly presents on the floor. Your parents won't even know you have a dog. These robotic pooches come in a number of breeds, and in addition to regular dog tricks like shaking hands and rolling over, these canines can do the karate chop, hum songs and do a whole range of stunts. And breakdancing is one of their favourite pastimes. But sometimes this can leave them with dislocated hips and appear to be feeling quite dizzy and confused, like poor Spot here. Now, they do have a little tail which can also be used as a remote control device, but being played with too much can lead them to going crazy, and in some cases have been known to end up obsessed by some evil force, just like this one has. But don't worry, everything's fine, until its eyes turn red. What will they think of next? This is a robot petrol pump, designed to fill the car for you. Although what worries me is that it still can't seem to find where the petrol goes. It works by registering the car on arrival at the filling station and matching it to a database of fuel cap designs and fuel types. The system works for any car whose petrol tank can be opened without a key and whose contours and dimensions have been recorded in the database, thus avoiding any accidental scratches by the robot. Once it finally finds where your petrol tank is located, it slowly and carefully removes the cap and fills your car, hopefully with the right fuel. Seems like a marvellous idea. I just wouldn't bother though if you're in a hurry. Do you think we could confuse it if we parked the car the other way around? He's not just throwing this paper plane for fun, he's actually using it as an experiment. This is the kind of job that would be perfect for any big kid, for anyone that loves to make things out of paper. And you know what? You'd get paid an absolute fortune for it too. Scientists have been testing small origami planes made of special paper for 30 seconds in 250 degrees Celsius heat and wind at 7 times the speed of sound. Surprisingly, the plane survived. A spacecraft made of folded paper zooming through the skies may sound far-fetched, but Japanese scientists actually plan to launch paper planes from the International Space Station to see if they make it back to Earth. Strange, but true. The theory is that a paper craft, being much lighter than space shuttles, may escape the worst of the friction and heat that much heavier space shuttles face on re-entry to the atmosphere. Seriously, paper planes in space? Who comes up with these ideas? Next, they'll be trying to make submarines. The people of Germany and England really take their rivalry too far. Not only are they super competitive on the football field, they also fight for the title of the world record smart car stuffing competition. And just like the title suggests, these people get stuffed, you guessed it, into a car. 2 teams of 15 attempt to get as many team members as they can into a tiny 2-door car. They start by placing a person in the driver's seat and passenger seat, and then just start to pile them in one by one, wherever there's a gap. Competitors need to be over 5 feet tall and be at least 18 years old. Good idea though, because as you can see, there's a lot of touchy-feely involved and quite a good possibility you're going to end up with someone's behind in your face. Once they've crammed in as many bodies as possible, all the doors are closed and need to remain that way for at least 10 seconds. Now, 10 seconds doesn't seem like a long time until you're trapped in a car with 14 other people. And let's just hope that everybody takes good care of their personal hygiene. We've all witnessed that dreaded bust that smells like BO before. And I wouldn't recommend anyone eats baked beans the night before either. Now, usually when you hear a siren, it means run as far away as you can. But for some locals in France, they're hearing a siren of a different kind. These sirens aren't alerting people to the possibility of danger. They've been transformed into instruments. But what happens now if there is danger? Too bad, because these musicians are too busy tuning their instruments and, to be honest, they really don't care. That sound is bizarre. Some say they produce mysterious and captivating music, attracting many people who hear it. But to me, that just sounds very eerie. And what better place to play it than at this creepy-looking lake? Who can be bothered anymore with public transport and the hustle and bustle of peak hour traffic? Not when there's these tricycles lying around. They can carry up to 100 kilos and are great for the environment. They get you from A to B and don't produce any harmful chemicals. They're great for lugging kids around, getting groceries and performing your general day-to-day routines. Although for some people these tend to be more of a fashion statement. How do I chain this thing up? Geez, Mum, even I could work this out. Can you believe someone has actually designed a uniform for criminals? Well, not really, but it looks like it. These scary looking hoodies are a new trend taking the world by storm. But I think someone needs to call the fashion police instead. The reaction from onlookers is priceless. A little subtlety goes a long way, buddy. Whoops, better turn around. Hey, I know him. That's the guy who stole my hair. If you're one of these people that doesn't like to draw attention to yourself, then this could be a very smart or very dumb purchase. A camouflage hoodie. With this, you could blend in almost anywhere. See, these girls haven't even noticed they're being perved on yet. Maybe the army could invest in these camouflage hoodies. For one, they'd make a great uniform, and two, they look like they have a built-in gas mask. That's all we have this time, but follow us again if you dare when we open the files at My Weird Space.